Good evening, everyone. Today is the 30th of January, 2026, and time is 5:53 p.m. So we're going to go ahead and get started with a special weather update regarding the winter storm and how it's going to affect us here in Flagler County. So I've started my recording, and if anyone comes in late, you can go ahead and rewind this, or if you want to rewatch it again, you missed something, you can rewind it anytime you'd like. So let's talk about what's going to be happening here. So let me make sure we are refreshed and we are up to date. And the first thing I'm going to do is going to go to what the National Weather Service is telling us. So this is the key messages for this event. So extreme cold warnings are in force for the entire area Saturday night through early Sunday afternoon. Lows in the teens and lower 20s can be expected at coastal locations. Dangerously cold wind chills, we're talking about the teens and single digits, are going to be pretty widespread. Winter weather advisories are in place for the very, very northern reaches of the area, like up in southeast Georgia and places like that. We are not looking at any cumulative wintry precipitation here at this point in time. The odd flurry or even a little burst of light snow cannot be ruled out Saturday night, but that's not the big problem. The main two things are going to be the cold weather and the winds. And so we are going to be getting, and this part has not been talked about a lot. So it is going to get rather windy here on Saturday, especially afternoon Saturday night. Gust up. This is like, being brushed by a tropical storm. We're going to have gales right along the coastal areas. We're going to have sustained gales in exposed areas. Gusts 40 to 50 miles an hour will be commonplace. So get those light objects secured. You do not need to get ready for like a hurricane, but you do need to be ready. If you have dustbins, trash cans, rubbish bins, that kind of stuff, if you have flags, any lawn decorations, anything that can be blown around by the wind, get that stuff secured because your time is running out and that wind is going to be here by this time tomorrow and increasing. And those cold temperatures are on the way as well. So if you're traveling to the north, now there are winter weather advisories basically from about Jessup, Georgia, Brunswick, Georgia, points north and east. And that's just because there is a chance of getting maybe a half inch of snow or less in this area here. But if you do have travel plans further north, there's going to be significant disruptions in the Carolinas. South Carolina does not have the winter weather fighting apparatus that places up north do. So if you're traveling by train, if you're driving or flying to those areas, check ahead, especially if you're driving. Check ahead because there may be significant problems with the interstate highways in the Carolinas. But let's focus on what's going to be the main story here in Flagler County. Extreme cold warning is in force coming into place Saturday night through early Sunday afternoon. This includes all of Northeast Florida, including Flagler County, including Palm Coast. So, and this is for the wind chills. Remember now, the wind chill is what your body feel like, the temperature feels like to your body. And so that is, that is why you need to protect yourself. But also you need to protect pipes. You need to bring in any pets, any sensitive plants, and make sure if you're going to be outside for any length of time tomorrow night that you are dressed appropriately. So if you're from up north, if you're from the Northeast or up north and you've been in this stuff before, you pretty much know what to do. But if you've been down here a long time or, and just a reminder, so pipes. Let's talk about pipes real quick. If you have exposed pipes, if you have any pipes that are outside, if you have a swimming pool that has a pump on it, you want to let that pump run all night Saturday night. If you have any pipes that are outside, you want to get those protected. You want to let that water drip. If you're inside, if you're in one of the Palm Coast or, a regular house, whether it's cinder block or wooden built or whatever, if you're in one of those and all your pipes are inside your house, and if you're running your heat, you're not really going to have any problems. If you're not sure, just let your water drip because the consequences of a broken pipe are significantly worse than dripping your water. So again, if you have pipes that are outside, if you are in a trailer or a manufactured home and you have pipes that are outside to get into your house, let the water drip. Let it drip all night long. If you have a swimming pool, let that pump run all night long. Because again, the consequences of a broken pipe are significantly worse than letting water drip. If you're in like apartments, if you're in like a regular house, like the houses, like the houses in Palm Coast, stuff like that, if all your plumbing is indoors, you will likely be okay. If you have a garage, though, and you have any piping out there, and if your garage gets really, really cold, then you might want to let the water drip out there. If you have an irrigation system, you could get damaged. Your pipes could be damaged by this as well. So, again, though, just be aware of that. So, again, extreme cold warning Saturday night into Sunday. So how cold is it going to get? We will zoom in and get better numbers here, but just what we're looking at here, this is the wind chill. So Saturday night, we're looking at 16 degrees. By Sunday, we're looking at 9 degrees. And by Monday, we're looking at 20 degrees when we start to recover. So, but we'll take a closer look at that. Okay, here's the next thing. The wind. The wind is going to be a story with this thing. And I'm surprised that it's not really being talked about a lot because it's, wind is impactful. So we are looking at sustained winds of 20 to 30 miles an hour with gusts potentially up into gale force, 40 to 50 miles an hour. This is going to be more for exposed locations. But again, anywhere in this brown area here, this is your wind advisory. So anywhere in this region, that includes Flagler County, these are the winds. So again, secure those loose objects because if you have a trampoline, if you have empty trash cans, if you have anything like that, get those secured. Do that now. Do that because these winds are going to start in here Saturday afternoon. If you have anything lightweight outside, it can chucked around by the winds. If you have lawn decorations, if you have flags that you don't want to get ripped up, get those flags secured because it is going to get windy and you can see gusts upwards 50 miles an hour. When you start getting winds gusting up that far, you can possibly get some low-end wind damage. You could get some power outages and things like that, so be ready for that. So, again, we're not talking about hurricane here. So there could be like an isolated power outage here and there. We're not talking about anything widespread, just to make sure that all of that is in context. So we also have a pretty good drought situation going on with the winds. Just be careful with any ignition source outside. We do not need to get a wildfire going with those kind of winds. So let's get to local details. First off, everyone wants to know about the snow. Let's talk about the snow. So let's back this out a little bit. This is from the Weather Prediction Center, and it basically gives us an overview of where wintry precipitation could occur. Now, this only means that you might get a few snowflakes. This does not mean that it's going to be measurable snowfall. So what are the chances of getting that? So we have a couple areas that have that potential. Over here in the Gulf Coast, we might get what is called Gulf effect snow, where it gets cold enough. Now the trick is there's going to be a time when some very dry air gets in behind this system, and that dry air can shut off any precipitation. So it's going to be kind of a race between can we get enough moisture to spin up, get any precipitation going, and before that dry air gets here and cuts it off. So one area that has that potential is out here on the Gulf Coast. Now, I want to make sure that folks understand this is very low chance here. We're talking about this blue here, this darker blue, that's 5% chance. This lighter blue, that's 10% chance. Remember, 10% chance, really low. When you get into this other area here, 20 to 30% chance. So again, really low. Let's get closer to home. So we'll zoom in a little bit. Flagler County right here. So yes, we are in the percentile here. So we have a 5 to 10 to 20% chance of seeing some wintry precipitation Saturday night, Sunday morning. It could just be a few flakes and a few flurries. It could be, a little bit more than that. There's still some uncertainty with this. Or it might not happen at all. Remember, this is really low risk here. We're talking about 20, 30%. If you go further north into St. Augustine, now you're getting to about a 40% chance. There's been a history with snow. Okay, my cat is on top of the computer, and if he hits the off button, he's going to end this broadcast sooner than later. So if I suddenly cut off, tune in. I'll be right back. Anyways, but St. Augustine has a history of snowfall. In 1952, in February of 1952, you can look this up. This Google St. Augustine snow 1952. They had 2 inches of snow in St. Augustine. It went from St. Augustine down to about Crescent City here, 1952. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but those things have happened in the past. Now, the further north you go, the better chances of getting wintry precipitation. You get up here at Ferdinand Beach, and now we're getting to 60% chances of that happening. Again, though, this just means that you might get a few snowflakes in the air. That's all this means. It does not mean it's going to accumulate. So let's go to minor impacts. Where is there the chances of minor impacts, at least right now? This is where we start talking about measurable snowfall. And Ferdinand Beach is right on the edge of that 5% chance. Over here, Gulf Coast, is there any over here? No, there is not at this point in time. But you go further up, Brunswick, Georgia, and then up into Savannah, might get an inch of snow up there. So this tells us the areas where minor impacts could occur. So if we go to moderate impacts now, this is where we're getting more significant. You can see those chances dwindle quite a bit, maybe 5% chance up here by Savannah. Nothing in Florida at all. When we go to major impacts, you got to go all the way up here into the Carolinas. This is, again, why I tell anyone, if you're traveling through here, think twice. If you haven't left by now, wait a day or two for them and check to make sure to get everything cleared out. Extreme impact risk, again, very low risk, but right along the eastern Carolinas. So could it possibly get a few snowflakes around here? The answer is indeed yes. But those chances are really, really low right now. But these numbers can be adjusted as the forecast becomes more fine-tuned. So what's going on out there? Let's take a closer look at that. So we have a front right now moving through the state of Florida, which is why we've had a little bit of rain here. And that low-pressure system is going to develop off the East Coast. That's going to become quite intense. And that's where you see the wintry weather up in the Carolinas, maybe just a tinge of it getting close to Florida. And then as we get to Monday, though, this starts, Sunday, this starts pulling well away from us. Maybe some snow up here in the Northeast, and that's gone. So let's talk about local effects, because this is what everyone wants to know. So we're going to talk first about wind chills. Let me refresh this. Bear with me. I just want to make sure I got the latest information here. So let's talk about temperatures first. For Saturday morning, for tomorrow morning, not going to be too terribly bad. Mid-40s across the area here. 46 Palm Coast, 45 Bunnell, 45 along US 1 FEC Railway Corridor, Mondex, Andalusia, 44 degrees, Cody's Corner, 44 degrees, 48 in Flagler Beach, 47 at Marineland. Now, tomorrow night, hang on, let's get to Saturday. Tomorrow during the day, high temperatures in the 50s. Let me tell you, this will be in the morning. These temperatures will start to fall like a rock in the afternoon. So don't let this fool you. You're going to see those temperatures plummeting in the afternoon. So these high temperatures will be in the morning. 56 degrees, pretty much evenly across the county, maybe 54 at the beaches. Here comes the scary part. Saturday night, Sunday morning. This is not wind chill. This is actual forecast low temperatures from the National Weather Service. 22 degrees in Bunnell. 22 degrees in Palm Coast. 27 degrees beaches. 26 degrees Flagler Beach. 26 degrees Marineland. 22 Cody's Corner. 22 Andalusia. So largely about 22 degrees low temperature for Flagler County Saturday night going into Sunday morning. How about Sunday? How's that going to look? Well, we'll go to wind chills in a minute. So Sunday, temperatures will struggle. Come on. We'll struggle into the 40s. High temperatures, mid-40s across the entire area on Sunday. And then as we go into Sunday night now, Monday morning, back down into the 20s. Not that one night's good enough. We have to have two. So 26 degrees, 22 degrees is not that much of a difference, folks. It's just going to be brutally cold once again. Temperatures right near freezing, maybe staying above it at the beaches, but inland in the mid-20s solidly, the way things are looking right now. We get to Monday now, temperatures get back into the 50s. We start to rebound. Going for the rest of the week, so I'm focusing on this weekend here, but going through the rest of the week, things warm back up. We're in the 60s by Tuesday. By Wednesday, we're up near 70 degrees. By Friday, Thursday, we're up around, we got a little cool down, but not like we've had. So back down in the 30s Friday morning, but nothing like we've just experienced. How about the wind chill? Now, wind chill is important because this is how your body reacts to the cold. Just like the heat index, some people say, well, the heat index is just, no, it's not overblowing anything. It's how your body reacts to the environment. Same with the wind chill. So your wind chill by Saturday morning is going to be down in the 40s. That's not that big of a deal. How about Sunday morning? Look at this. 9 degrees, 8 degrees in Bunnell, 7 degrees in Palm Coast, 10 degrees in Beverly Beach, 9 degrees in Flagler Beach, 9 degrees at Marineland. Yes, the dolphin tanks are heated. I'm very, I can confirm that. 9 degrees Espanola, 10 degrees out here in Andalusia. These are really, really cold wind chills. I'm going to show you why they're so cold here in just a few moments. So as we get into Monday morning, not as bad. Wind chills in the teens, but still quite cold. And as we go through the rest of the week, we start to recover back into the 30s. So let's talk about winds, because the winds is also the next important part of this. So, whoops, I screwed up. Hang on. There we go. Wind gusts. Let's talk about that. Tomorrow, peak wind gusts, 45 miles per hour, Beverly Beach. Flagler Beach, 44 miles per hour. Marineland, 41 miles per hour. To put that in perspective, those are gale force gusts. Those are tropical storm force gusts. Inland, Bunnell, 39 miles an hour. Palm Coast, 40 miles an hour. 40 miles an hour. So tropical storm force gusts, county-wide, maybe dropping off a little bit further inland. If you are in an exposed area, if you're on the water, if you're in the canals, if you're in an area where there's not a lot of trees, it is going to be quite blustery. And if you are in an area that's on the ocean, it's going to be quite blustery there as well. So again, this hasn't really been talked about a whole lot, and folks need to understand the winds are part of this picture with this storm. And this is why you need to secure all your loose items, anything that's really lightweight out there. Again, it's not a hurricane. You're not going to have to put up the windows or anything like that. But anything that's real lightweight, like what you do for a nor'easter, that's what you need to be ready for. So any trash cans you got out there, any flags, any lawn decorations, go ahead and get those things secured. So as we go into Monday, those winds drop off quite a bit, but I skipped up a little bit. Sunday, we're still staying quite breezy with gusts into the mid-30s, but not as bad as Saturday. The worst of the winds looks to be Saturday night. Go through the rest of the week, we're looking pretty good. So let's look at our precipitation chances here. We have just a very slight chance of precipitation tonight. Saturday, now here's our rain chances here. This is the chances of flurries. Right along the coast here, about a 12% chance of getting some wintry precipitation Saturday night from Marineland. 12% chance there, 10% chance Palm Coast, 12% along the beaches. Right along the coast is where that precipitation chance is. Again, could see some flurries out there Saturday night. Maybe. So this is a very low chance. Let's keep that in mind. But to see this in Flagler County, quite rare. It has happened before, but it is quite rare for us. Now, as we get into Sunday, we stay dry, and then pretty much the rest of the week we stay dry. Maybe some rain chances Wednesday night with that next front coming through, but that's it. Looking at precipitation and amounts, really nil. So not really anything to mention at all. So let's go ahead and talk about how long is this going to last. So taking a look at the Climate Prediction Center's website. So our outlook, February 5th through the 9th, we are looking at below normal temperatures, and largely to be expected, and drier than normal conditions to be expected. Does not mean we're going to be Arctic cold, but expect temperatures to be below normal as we go into the first week of February. Let's go further. So this takes us to the middle part of February, February 13th. The 7th through the 13th, looking again below normal temperatures are to be expected. It doesn't mean you can't have like the odd warm day, but overall, the average, expect temperatures to be below normal. Precipitation also below normal. So folks, just to kind of wrap this up here and just to kind of review, I'm going to review for those coming in late. Cold weather advisories, extreme cold warning comes into force Saturday night, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night into early Sunday afternoon. Low temperatures in the teens further inland, lower 20s for Flagler County. Dangerously cold wind chills, single digits. Probabilities of some minor snowfall impacts in the very northern parts of the National Weather Service forecast zone, basically up there by Georgia, but some flurries, maybe a little burst of light snow is not impossible for us Saturday night. Winter weather advisories, though, for those places up there. Again, I want to make sure folks understand, gusts of 40 to 50 miles an hour on Saturday will be likely with the winds. So, again, extreme cold warning in place for the entire area Saturday at night through Sunday afternoon. Wind advisories in place Saturday afternoon through Sunday morning. So to be ready for this, you want to go ahead and for cold protection, again, if you have any pipes that are outside, wrap them up, let the water drip. If you have a pool pump, let that thing run Saturday night. If you have any pipes outside that are exposed above ground, if your pipes that get to your house, if they go outside before they come into your house, wrap them up, let the water trickle. If you have a house where the pipes are not exposed, you will likely be okay. If you're not sure, just let the water drip anyways. No harm in that, because getting a broken pipe is far worse than dripping your water overnight. If you have a pool, again, let that pump run. Again, if you have any lightweight items, get those things inside. Trash cans, get them secured. Bring those flags in. Anything out there that can blow around in the wind, light objects. We're not talking, again, we are not talking hurricane stuff. We're talking like nor'easter stuff. If you have anything out there that can be blown about by the wind, it's lightweight. Get that stuff secured because the wind is coming. The worst of the cold looks to be Saturday night, along with the worst of the wind. And then we stay blustery into Sunday. One more really cold night, Sunday night, Monday morning. And then things slowly start to modify. Very low risk of some light snowfall or a few flurries. We'll be keeping you up to date. Thank you for watching. If you just joined us and you want to rewatch anything, just rewind the tape. You can rewind it and rewatch it. We'll also be posting our YouTube link with our recording and posting on TikTok as well. Thank you for following us. We will do our best to keep you informed. We only use official National Weather Service information, so what we give you is not overhyped. It's what the Weather Service is saying. Everybody out there, have a great evening. Stay warm.